1976 Mercedes. This is cheap. Why is this so cheap? No title. Never received after purchase. Emissions good till end of January. No lights on dash. So should be easy to renew. Believe thermostat may need to be replaced. Car is not overheated, but temp rise is a little high. Yeah, because thermostats do that. Driver wheel bearing will need to be replaced. Does not affect driving. Recommend servicing transmission. Yeah, I recommend you service the transmission, but it's totally fine. Yeah. That speaks 1,000 words right there. So sold by a licensed dealer. It's got a dealer tag on it. So somebody, yeah, I don't know what's up with this. It's in Lithonia. What can you do with a no title car? I see it all the time. So, it depends. Like, I have gotten a title for a car with no title before. And in my case, what I had to do was I had to get an indemnity bond. And it's a weird process, and it takes a few years. And the thing is, you want to be damn sure that the car was not stolen, or that no previous owner can in any way like lay claim to this car, right? That there's not somebody out there who like previously owned it, who like currently holds the title, who can come out of the woodwork and say, oh no, that's my car, that guy shouldn't have it. So the car that I had that didn't have a title. So I've actually had two cars with no titles. They were both Toyota Cressidas from the 80s, and they both ended in different ways. So the first one I had no title for, and I had to get an indemnity bond, which was a weird process. And I went through this company called like the Western Surety Bond Company. But the basic idea is you start with a car with no title, then you get the indemnity bond. For the first there's like a 3-year time period, I think. But for the first 3 years that you have this indemnity bond, the indemnity bonds company is like, technically they're searching for the whole country to find like whoever has the title to this car. I don't really know how it works, but supposedly they're like searching for the car's rightful owner. And at the end of 3 years, if how's it work? At the end of the 3 years, if they don't find somebody who like technically owns your car and claims it, then the car is yours and you get a title. So that's how it worked for me. So yeah, I got this indemnity bond, and then like years later, I had totally forgotten about it, honestly. It was like a 3-year process, I think. Years later, I opened up my mail one day and then like, yeah, I could drive it. Yes, I could. And so the way that this car worked was that I started out with this car in Georgia. Years and years ago when I was in college, I bought it in Georgia, and it was a 1985 car. And in Georgia, you don't have to have a title for an 85 car. I forget what exactly the cutoff is, but for like certain age of car in Georgia, you don't even have to have a title. So like, I just had a bill of sale, and Georgia was cool with it. Then I moved to North Carolina, and North Carolina was like, no, you have to have a title for all cars, right? And so I was like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And they were like, you have to get an indemnity bond. And I was like, okay. And so as soon as I got the indemnity bond, they gave me license plates and they let me drive the car, right? While the indemnity bond process was playing out, I had plates on the car and I drove it. And then, like I said, years on down the line, I got this like certificate in the mail. Like it just popped out of my snail mail one day, just completely out of the blue. And it was like this very official thing with like this gold seal on it and this raised stamp like a freaking notary. And it was like, congratulations, sir. You know, we've officially declared that this Cressida is yours or whatever. And so like, then when I got the indemnity bond back, then I actually went to the state of North Carolina, and I was like, okay, my indemnity bond process completed. Can you give me a title? And they did. They gave me a title, and I've had a title for the car ever since. So all that is to say, if you've got a car with no title, there's a few different ways that you can try and play it. Like, you can try and find the person who has the title and just harass them. You can try and freaking sue them. That's the other thing that I did with the other car I had that didn't have a title. So I was, this was, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. I bought an 86 Cressida from this lady who was selling it out of her dad's estate, right? And I bought the car from her. I took it home, and she wouldn't give me the title for it, which was annoying. So this was a weird process because I bought this 86 Cressida and as a parts car. I thought I was buying it as a parts car, and I got the car home, and I was like, oh, I can't kill this thing. Like, it's too special. I like Cressidas too much. It's too complete. I have to get it running, and I did. I got it running. Like, I fixed it up, got it in pretty decent shape, and I sold it to a guy. But the problem was, once I decided I was gonna get the car running and keep it together, I was like, well, shit, I need a title for this thing. So I called the lady up, and I was like, hey. Like, and she had the title. She had the freaking title, but it was in her deceased father's name, and she was like scared to sign it over to me. And I was like, I tried to reason with her. I tried so hard to reason with her. I was like, ma'am, please, I need the title for this car. Please, there's a process. You just sign it on behalf of your dead dad, and you sign it over to me, and everything's gonna be cool. And she was like, no, like it's too crazy. Like, I don't want to mess up the paperwork. Please just take it without the title. And I was like, ma'am, you sold me this car and you have the title. Like, it's one thing if she didn't have the title and she sold me the car, then I could have applied for an indemnity bond, right? And I could have gotten the title that way. But because she sold me the car and she had the title and I knew she had the title and she knew she had the title, legally, the only way for us to come through this process was for her to sign the title over to me. And I kept trying to reason with her, call, text, like, and she was responding to me, but she was like, no, I don't know how to do it. The paperwork's too complicated. Please just take the car. Please don't ask for the title. And I'm like, lady, come on. And and it's like, ma'am, I know it would be a pain for you to sign this title right now, but like, I'm sitting here and like, believe me, this is way more of a pain for me than it is for you, you know? So anyways, one night, I stopped by, a couple of my friends were at this bar called Kickback Jacks, and I lived in Garner, North Carolina at the time. And I'll never forget, I was driving around one night, and my buddy Nate's like, hey man, we're at Kickbacks, you want to stop by? And I roll into the bar, and I sit down at the table, and I'm telling my buddy this story, and he just told me, like, you need to sue this bitch. She can't do this to you. If she sold you the car and she has the title, like, you have to sue her. There's no other way around it. Take this bitch to small claims court. Like, this is what you got to do. This is where you file the paperwork. And, like, he told me, like, go to this building in downtown Raleigh. That's the small claims court. They give you the paperwork. You fill it out. And I'd never sued anybody before. And sure enough, that's what I did. I went to the court in downtown Raleigh or whatever, and I filled out this paperwork, and I said, look, you know, this woman, here's her address. She's got the title of the car. I bought the car from her. I paid her for it. She won't give me the title. And I hated to do this, but finally, and so she got served papers over an 86 Cressida, for goodness sakes. And it's like, ma'am, I didn't want to do this, but you forced my hand. And so, like, you know, sure enough, a few weeks later, we have a court date. And I pull up to downtown Raleigh, go up, take the elevator up to the courtroom. And I get to this courtroom, and sure enough, there the lady is. And the judge is going through the cases, and there's like numerous cases on the docket or whatever, and the judge is going case. I'm sorry, this is a really long answer to your question, but it's not. That's my point is, if you have a car with no title, there's really no uncomplicated way about it. Like, if you take away one thing, but so anyways, finally the judge gets to our case, and the lady pipes up, and she's like, "It's okay, it's fine. I have the title. I'll sign it over to the guy. It's cool, I'll do it." And the judge was like, okay, well, that's good, because if you weren't going to do that, then we would probably just go forth and, like, I don't even know what the word is for it, but, like, the judgment would have been in my favor, not hers, is basically what the judge said. The judge basically said, like, lady, like, that's good that you've, like, come to Jesus and you're going to sign the title over now, but, like, if you weren't going to do that, then yes, we in this court would, like, legally judge against you, and you would have to give this chap back the money that he paid for this Cressida, which I don't remember what I paid for the car. I kind of wish I did. I mean, I can tell you it was in the three-figure range. Was it 100? Was it 500? I don't remember. The car hadn't run in 20 years. I got it running and I sold it to a guy. It was, I mean, it was. I like Cressidas. But anyways, so here we are in this courtroom, and she finally has this come to Jesus moment and decides she's going to sign the title over to me. And I don't know. So that's a long story, but yeah. Bottom line is, if you truly have no idea where the title is, but you're confident the car is legally yours, you can go through the indemnity bond process. But that's not a great process because it takes years. So like if you're just trying to flip this thing, like if I just come up on this M37X right here and I'm like, oh, $2,600, I could get a title for that and flip it. It's like, well, the indemnity bond process is not good for that kind of situation, I don't think. Like it's good for the situation where it's like, oh, this is a classic car. It's mine forever. Like I'm keeping it forever, and I have years to spend on this indemnity bond process and sitting here and wait. Then the indemnity bond's fine. But like for this kind of thing, not so much. Now, could you like maybe figure out who has the title and take them to small claims court? Maybe. But then again, maybe they'll be like, oh, well, that car was stolen from me. Like, I don't know. Anyways, that's my insights on. Anyways, we're back to the end of Craigslist from last week. That's all I know about not having a title. It's like there's not really a cut and dry process for it, and it's gonna take a while probably. In all likelihood, it's gonna be a long drawn out process. So it's like if you find something and you're pretty confident what the backstory is on it, and you really want to like keep this thing for yourself, then maybe. But like, if you're just buying something because it's cheap, yeah, dude. I mean, yeah, yeah. I don't know what else to tell you. But anyways, cons: slipping transmission.